Hey, this is Logan here for VacBin.com, and today we're going to be reviewing the Samsung R7040 Powerbot Robot Vacuum Cleaner. Now, first thing to note, this is a robot vacuum, which means it is not meant to replace your conventional vacuum. This is meant for every day or every other day you run it while you're out of the house, while you're sleeping, while you're doing other things in another room. This is meant to do the dirty work of the daily maintenance so that your house doesn't get as dirty. A lot of people think, oh, I can just replace my regular vacuum with a robot vacuum, never have to vacuum again. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. These things do not clean nearly as well as even a cheap, $80 Walmart upright. They're not meant for that. This is meant for maintenance work, not deep cleaning. But let's get into the actual robot itself. This robot has an MSRP of around $500, but you can typically find it on sale for about $350 or less. It is Thanksgiving time, so Black Friday, holiday season, you can probably find these a little cheaper. Samsung has a full range of robot vacuums, starting with the R7010 and going up to the 7070. However, for all intents and purposes, while they do add features, they have the same basic navigation system, which uses this camera right here to look up at your ceiling and take pictures of your ceiling, and then it will figure out based on where lights are and stuff like that, where it is in the room. Which has a huge drawback. This robot can't run with the lights off at night, or if you have a very dark room, it has quite a bit of problems. So, first things first, you need to have your lights on for this robot, which is kind of crazy. When a lot of other robots like iRobot's vacuums that have bump detection, Nito's vacuums which use laser, Shark's vacuums use bump, even a lot of the Chinese brands use either laser or bump sensors, they don't require your lights to be on for the robot to work. Furthermore, this robot has fantastic suction. It has a really big motor in it. You can see here 40 times suction. Some of the other models that are higher up in the line have even better suction. I have it in the turbo mode, so the full suction mode, and if I turn it on here, you'll hear it. Give it a second. It's pretty loud. Obviously the camera kind of tries to normalize everything, but it's loud enough to where I wouldn't want to be holding a conversation with, someone else in the room. I'd have to raise my voice or turn up the TV quite a bit to have this robot in the same room. Which, coupled with the fact you have the lights on, means that you're having, you can't be in the same room with the robot even though you have to have the lights on and all that. So, not great. What really, really makes me not like this vacuum is the software. So, this robot does have an app that goes on your phone, iPhone or Android, to control it. And also this robot has plenty of software on board to be able to, navigate around the room, use the camera to figure out where it is. And straight up, the software is horrible. This robot sometimes crashes to the point where if it's on the dock and you press the button, it just won't respond and you have to take it off, turn it upside down, turn it off, back on again, and then wait for it to reboot. Sometimes the app just straight up hangs or crashes on your phone, or it acts like it's cleaning, but it doesn't do anything. The navigation is horrendously bad. Even with all the lights on, in a perfect environment where I've moved everything out of the way, it gets stuck a lot of the time, and sometimes will run into my couch over and over again, trying to get under it, even though it's way too big. As you can see right here, it will just do this. I don't have video of it. We will turn that off for right now. It's also very tall compared to a lot of other vacuums, so it can't get under my TV stand, which a lot of other robots can. And the battery life is iffy at best. Also, I have some things in my room, or in my living room over there, which you can't see right now. It gets hung up around chairs and tables, and sometimes it will only clean half of my dining room, which is, open, so it should be able to find a way over here. and then it just stops and says it's done. So straight up, the navigation's horrible, the app is horrible. Where it cleans, it does a good job, but it's loud, it requires the lights to be on. It sometimes, you know, the hard part about this robot is when it works well. But most of the time, it doesn't work. So if I'm out of the house, let's say I'm at work, I use the app to say, oh, you know, I want to have my home cleaned by the time I get home. I start it, and then I'll find it only cleaned like half the room, or it got stuck and ran out of battery power, or it just decides to stop sometimes in the middle of the room and there's no reason. It doesn't send an error code back, nothing like that. And something that I really, really don't like about this, there's no virtual wall, there's no magnetic tape, there's no way to stop it from going somewhere you don't want. So it's just really not that great, especially for what they're charging for it. For $500, you can buy a mid-range Nito robotics vacuum, which is going to sweep the floor with this thing because it can navigate successfully almost every time. And the Nito has Google Home and Amazon Echo support, so you can just talk to your, your smart home assistant, and it will run your vacuum. This doesn't. You have to go to Samsung's, proprietary app and hope it works. Overall, I'm just not super satisfied with this robot. The bin is nice, however, a lot of stuff gets stuck right here in this little cyclone area, and then it clogs itself up. So I'm sometimes having to empty it when it does work 2-3 times to clean 500 square feet because pet hair, or not pet hair, just my hair, which is pretty short, gets tangled up in here, or dust just clogs everything up. Overall, it's not good. When it works, it's great, but it's just too unreliable for me to recommend at any price over $200, basically. You can find one of these things on sale on clearance for $200 or less, maybe, but even then, there are just so many better vacuums coming out of China, like the Anchor robots, the Iffy robots, that offer a much better value than this. It's just not that good. Maybe in a few years, Samsung, by next year, whenever Samsung decides to update the series, maybe they will have better navigation systems. But for now, even though it has some of the best suction on the market, it has this nice big brush roll, and when it works, it does a fantastic job. It's just hard to recommend because it doesn't work reliably. And most people want a robot that they don't have to start 2 or 3 times to get it to actually clean their room. They want to be able to press a button and know that, 90-95% of the time, it's going to be able to do its own thing. Unless, you leave something out. This just gets stuck in the middle of the room sometimes. It's just really hard to recommend this thing at almost any price. And this goes for the whole Powerbot series because they all have the same navigation technology. So, overall, well, yes, it has Wi-Fi, and yes, it can, pause and resume, and yes, it has all these great features on the spec sheet. In the real world, the Samsung Powerbot 7040 just does not pass the test. It is not that good. So overall, I cannot recommend the Samsung Powerbot 7040 or anything in the Samsung Powerbot series at this time. This has been Logan here for VacBin.com. Thanks for watching.